Recording or anything. Oh,
There we go. Yeah.
Hey, smack 'em a gob, everybody. It's wait. Oh fuck. I just spilled my drink, god damn it.
Ah, fuck.
I'll be right back. You all talk. It's gonna be a question and answer. I'll be right back.
What's happening?
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Are you watching the chat room, or do I need to get on there? Or?
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it.
Okay.
I think Ralph will get it too. He usually does.
No, I can't. I don't know how to do it. I'm computer retarded.
I thought you've been doing it lately.
Nah. I'll be right back. Talk to the people. See what the people are saying.
Hi, people.
Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's saying anything yet. So wait and see.
Is there anybody in the chat room?
Nope, not yet. One. Let's see. One. Let's see. Nobody. Yeah. Did you have a good Christmas, man?
Not bad, man. Off work, so that's good.
Yeah, that's always good. Yeah, I only had one day off, but it's cool. You know, hung out with some friends and stuff. Had a good time. Yeah.
Right. Where are you at?
I'm in North Carolina.
How's the weather there?
It's okay. It's cool, but it's not freezing, you know.
Fucking cold and rainy here.
Hey, King Dinosaur's here. What's up?
I love King Dinosaur, man. I love that dude. King Dinosaur, like myself, lost his dad this year.
Oh, sorry for your loss, brother.
So we both, are going through similar shit. Let me fix this shit. It's amazing how many of people leave comments of them losing a parent or a loved one this year. 2024 has been bad for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know you've had a bad year, man.
My year has been horrendous. Though I caught a break the past couple of months. No hospital visits, no nothing like that. See if this shit stays. It's so stupid. My webcam now, it's upside down, so I have to place it upside down to see me upside right. How about now?
Wow.
Yeah, it sucks.
Man, I thought I had crappy computer issues, but
all right, fuck. Stay here. I'll get closer. So yeah, this will be the last time you see me here. I have to be out of here by Monday. The situation with my new house has ran into another snag. The yard is a shambles. They gotta fix the yard, and then, which is going to take I figure a few months, and then call the inspectors in Hialeah where there's bad service. So who knows how long it'll take the inspectors. But keep your fingers crossed, because Monday I'm going to start fixing everything in the new house. And I just had the internet installed today. So I'm going to be staying with my brother, but I'll be going to the house fixing shit so I can do a show there and then leave, because I ain't going to fucking sleep there, man. I already got fined by Hialeah once. It ain't going to happen again.
But you have squatters' rights.
Yeah. So
Bushy said you're in South Florida and there's plenty of Latinos there, so your yard will be done in no time. Racist Bushy.
I'm having fake grass put in, by the way.
Nice. Sod. S-O-D.
S-O-D?
Yeah. Sod. Is that what you're getting? Sod.
Is that what it's called? Fake grass?
Those big patches of grass.
AstroTurf?
But that's, you're getting AstroTurf. It's fake.
It's not grass. It's like plastic. It looks like grass.
So you don't have to mow it.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I used to enjoy mowing my lawn. It wasn't really out because I'd put the headphones on, and I'm like a lizard. I love the heat. So when it's really hot, I love mowing the lawn, because there's no better feeling than busting your ass and sweating like a pig than taking a shower and kicking back. After that shower and you're kicking back is the greatest feeling ever after a hard day's work.
You should piss your neighbors off and get fake dead grass. Just to run down the property bed.
Yep, that's it.
I was at my neighbor's today. You know, it's funny. I moved into the house in 1973, right? The neighbors were in Hialeah, same fucking people that were there when we moved in. Same people. The lady now is 94 years old, you know?
Wow. Crazy.
And they had, I should tell the story. I mean, yeah, a little ode to my friend Gordy, man. You see, when I was a little kid, he was a little kid, but he had Down syndrome, right? And I pretty much hung out with this kid who had Down syndrome all my childhood. I made friends around the block, but he was my neighbor. So me and this guy, and he used to get what would they call it in Spanish? I know this is like the only word I know in Spanish, but not English. Fatiga. He would get these. Man, what's that word I'm looking for? You know, he would get these things where he's kind of like convulsing.
Seizures.
Seizures. That's it. He would get seizures. And
what did you call them? Fajitas?
No, and in Spanish is fatiga. It also sounds like a homosexual, right? Hey, fatiga.
Come quick.
Yeah, I should be homosexual in Spanish. And in no way, hey, don't cancel me for that. Come on. It does sound like that, don't it? All right, but anyway, Gordy, man, I loved him. So then I moved away, and I saw him about 12 years ago. I actually went by the neighborhood, and he died like four years later. He's young, you know, he was like me, but you know, he was very overweight. I'm sure that may have something to do with it. But yeah, man. And I told him when the last time I saw him, you remember me? And he's like, yeah. You know, he was like very happy to see me and shit. So yeah, it was my childhood friend, man. That's why I'm kind of retarded. Oh, to Gordy. Love him, man. Rest in peace, Gordy.
Hey, Gordy.
Metal Mike says, how many light bulbs does it take to be a vagina fan?
Vangina, right?
Yeah. Oh, Vangina. Yeah.
I don't know how many light bulbs.
He hasn't given us the punchline yet. Quality t-shirts tonight from King Dinosaur. Yeah, everybody. It's got cool shirts on. Joel Breezel says, word on the street is Ralph does a lot of squatting. And he's got little turds.
Wait. I don't get the joke. What does it mean I do a lot of squatting? I don't get it.
He put little turds like you taking craps, I guess.
Don't we all? I mean, hey, wait. Anybody out there that doesn't squat and shit, I'm sure you got stomach pains. Right? Don't you
Exactly.
Think? I'm lucky I squat.
Well, we got some questions coming in. Mean Metal Mike asked, women in uniform or total eclipse?
Women in uniform.
I go women in uniform.
I go total eclipse. I've always loved that one.
I love that
one. That should have been on the album.
Yeah, I agree.
Disagree.
Mean Metal Mike asked, what's the best third studio album in you guys' opinion? Like a band's third studio album.
You know, it's one of those things that you can't really think of it. I mean, now what the third studio album is their best album is what he's trying to say?
Yeah.
Oh no, that'd be hard to guess, man. I mean,
I'll go Fire Down Under from Riot.
There you go. There you go.
Classic.
Right there. That's the one. That is hands down the best Riot album.
Queensryche. If you're counting full-length albums, Operation Mindcrime.
True. Yeah.
I love that, but I'm more
it's a third album.
I'm more of a fan of H for Order.
Wow.
Let's see. How about some Sammy Hagar bashing from Hot Rod? Yeah, that's coming, Rod. It'll be.
I got Ian here, man. I can take a break this week.
Yeah, that's right. Music Jacks fan says, I went to see Ace Frehley once. He canceled. Got stuck seeing Smash Gladys. I still have therapy once a week. Smash Gladys actually rocked. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them.
I've only heard the name.
It kind of sounds familiar.
I've heard the
They
name.
were
I think
kind of a sleaze rock band, female fronted,
I saw them.
New York based. She was
They were
kind of
on
tied in
Raw.
with the New York punk scene. Yeah, good, cool band. But yeah, Ace Frehley.
Well, you lucked out. It's canceled. You know,
Ace Frehley is hit. It's going to be hit or miss, and has been for years.
It's been missed for years.
Igor asked, Ralph, are you going to see Ace in February?
No. And this is the first time I'm missing Ace Frehley since 1987. He's playing the Dania Casino, and I'm not going.
This
I heard
one's
he's
for
playing
Ralph.
on this new tour. He's doing all of Live Plus One EP in its entirety.
Fuck,
Wow.
I love their Words Not Enough. I love that.
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
That's a great tune. No,
What
but,
is it? Six songs total?
Ace Frehley cannot play that song live because number one, it's good, and number two, it's not played out. So that's like,
And 3, he can't play.
yeah.
John Paul says this one's for Ralph. What's the name of the Sabbath tribute band that only does Volume 4? Is it Black Hat?
Black
Cat. Black Cat.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Black Cat.
Yeah, you know what? Look it up on Google because I filmed some of it. I mean, on YouTube, I filmed some of it, and you can see it on YouTube. It is the most amazing, in my opinion, the most amazing tribute band that ever will be, because they did not replicate Volume 4. They did weird things to each song on Volume 4 where it doesn't sound like the Sabbath version, but yet it's fucking awesome. It's fucking amazing. Cool. They mind blowing. I mean, that to me is a tribute band. A tribute band that writes their own music and uses the melodies and lyrics of Black Sabbath, where every other tribute band is a carbon copy of what's not real. But we live in a fake world where, you know, tribute bands are a thing.
Ralph, have you ever listened to Jazz Sabbath?
Yes, I have. It's all right. I liked it.
Like it.
What about the Brown Sabbath? Is that what you're talking about? The one that plays all the songs?
Oh, no, there's two. There's Brown Sabbath, and then they got more like horns, I think, and all kinds of different shit. I got one of their albums.
Hey, and speaking of Brown Sabbath, remember that racist that used to call me Brown Sabbath? You know, somebody put a picture up of him today because we haven't heard from him forever.
Yeah.
Dude, he's either homeless, in jail, or dead. One of the three.
Yeah, hopefully.
Because you can tell the guy didn't. You can tell by his picture the guy was broke. You can just tell he's like a broke dude, you know.
But answer your question, Tony. Jazz Sabbath is Adam Wakeman, who played live keys for Black Sabbath and stuff. Rick Wakeman's kid. It's a trio he put together, and they put out 2 albums. It's pretty good shit, different interpretations. I mean, you can tell what the song is, but there's some interesting interpretations if you like that kind of shit. One of those you got to be in the mood for.
Dick Watkins is in the house tonight. What's up, man? How's it going? Mean Metal Mike's punchline for his Vangina joke is was 20. The answer is 24 Vangina fans, I guess, or 24 light bulbs to take. If you include a light bulb T-shirt that says "Sammy sucks." Okay.
Well, that you're wrong because there is not 24 Vangina fans. Way less than that.
And if they are, where's a bomb? Get them all at once. Hey, speaking of, Dick Twatkins is here. I haven't got a chance to tell you, Ralph. I talked to Heather. I know we were talking about getting Heather Drain on the show this week. And she can't do it till the middle of January because she's got a bunch of deadlines because she's got important jobs. How about Dick Twatkins and we do Doc and Back for the Attack?
Okay. And Tony.
Dick Twatkins, answer in the chat room.
If Tony wants to join us.
Tony, would you like to do it?
It's a Sunday night.
What time is it Sunday?
8.
8. I'll let you know. I'll let you know this week.
All right.
Yep. Yeah.
You like that
Back
album?
for the-
Well, I guess we'll save it for the show if you're on.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That album's front
It's not
row.
my favorite Dokken album, but it's a decent one.
It's a front.
My problem with that album was always it was too many songs on it.
I thought it started off so strong. Like the first half of that album is strong.
Yeah.
It just teeters off. And I hate Dream Warrior. I've always hated that fucking song. They should have used SOD's Freddy Krueger.
Now I'm trying to remember. Was that on the original?
No.
Press?
Yes, it was, but Dream Warriors was released before, like maybe
Right.
And the B side of Dream Warrior was Back for the Attack.
Back for the Attack.
That wasn't on the album.
Okay, I knew there was one that wasn't on it. I had it on cassette originally.
Yeah, Dream Warriors they put on Back for the Attack, but Back for the Attack's a better song, in my opinion. I thought that song kicked ass.
Yeah, it's a cool song. Let's see. Me Metal Mike just says Sin After Sin. Yeah, it's a great album. I love that record.
Excellent.
Montana Hales says, my question for Ralph and Ian, did you two wash your hands after holding that stinky Hagar called 3-Lot box the day you tore it up?
No, because we are impervious to any disease you can get from a Sammy Hagar. Right? We're men. We're strong men.
And plus, you don't touch water in Nashville.
Yeah. What can you get from a Sammy Hagar record? PMS? I don't know.
We didn't take showers there or nothing.
Mm-mm. We wanted to fit in.
Nashville,
we wanted to fit in with the Nashville scene.
you know that Nashville's water is equivalent to Mexico's water. True story.
Hadn't heard. Purple Floyd asked, have any of you guys heard of the Finn McKinney situation?
Yes.
Have no clue
Yes, I have.
What is this? Explain, Ian.
This is a guy he's had a successful YouTube channel.
Oh, I talked about this. Yeah. The
For
Punk
years now.
RockMDA.
Yeah, and I would watch. Occasionally I'd watch some of his videos if it was what I felt was an interesting topic. And all these people are freaking out because this guy has recently quit his channel and basically said he doesn't like any of this music. In fact, he's not even a music fan. But it paid the bills. There's money to be made here on YouTube. And he made his money. He said he had a set amount that he wanted to make off of it. He did that. And now he's like, fuck it, I'm out of here. And it was all a fake. Said he'd basically go on Wikipedia and find out everything on these bands. Didn't listen to any of them. And people are just like losing their minds over it, which doesn't bother me one bit.
I love it. You see, here's the thing. The guy's name is the Punk RockMDA, right? And what does he do? Fucking fakes it. Fakes that he likes punk rock, takes the money and runs. That's punk rock, man. And also MDA. Some guy wrote on my comment, he's like, he's not even an MDA. And I said, dude, MDA means money be awesome. That's his MDA.
Yeah,
I applaud the guy. He came, pretended people ate it up, and then he just dips on everybody. See, I saw a couple of his episodes. There was one black metal one. He did that. He was just, wow. I even thought, watching that, I go, has he even heard of these bands? Because he was making fun of like really good black metal bands that if you were into black metal, I forgot who. I think it was Early Emperor he was talking about. And I was like, really? You're going to bash, you pretend to like black metal and you hate on Early Emperor? What the fuck? I mean, that's like, oh, I love metal, but I hate early Black Sabbath. Or I hate early Iron Maiden or early Metallica. But
yeah, that's strange.
I like heavy metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's strange.
So, right there was warning signs. But I didn't hate them. I just never watched them much. But I remember that was one of the episodes I saw.
But I mean, wake up. It's the fucking internet. I mean, half this shit's fake. You think Ralph really likes Manowar? Ralph likes women. you know. But we'll say whatever to get, true metal views, you know.
Just to let everybody know, I love Manowar. Ian hates Manowar. And I am very proud to say that I do a kick-ass show with this false metal poser. We rule.
Check it out.
It's like the yin and yang. I'm the true metal warrior. Like they say in the movie Trick or Treat, when the apocalypse comes, we'll be ready. Ian will be fucking in the corner in the fetal position because he is not a true metal warrior.
Ralph's a poser. He doesn't even like the soundtrack.
No false metal.
I'm not only a true metal warrior, I am also a true mana warrior.
Warriors.
Hail and kill.
Warriors of the earth.
That's right.
That couldn't sound any gayer if you had 5 dicks in your mouth when you said it.
No. Yeah. The guy that likes that band that sings about, she touched me and I started to cry.
It happens.
What is that?
That's the Cure.
That's funny.
These fuckers made me review a Cure album, right?
Hey, Bushy did it.
Yeah, Bushy. All right. And
I love that he picked one of the ones that, like, it's a popular Cure amongst Cure fans, but I wouldn't necessarily say it was their most accessible. And he was gonna pick their most accessible, which I think Ralph might have liked actually a few songs off of it. And I knew out the gate, I'm like, there is no fucking way. And it was pure torture for Ralph. He actually listened to the whole thing, and then he made a YouTube video. This is before, like, now we're doing live versions of our show. But back then, he did it. It was like all gay stuff. This was like a 2 or 3 hour episode.
That's right.
And he made like this gay video, put it up on our YouTube channel.
Is this on April Fools?
No. I did a video.
Just a paid like fan episode.
I did a video version of The Cure where all I did was like 2 hours of men kissing and stuff.
It's funny, man. When I was my late teens and stuff, I remember somebody asked the Cult. I got The Cure and the Cult mixed up, and someone was like, "Dude, you got to hear this new record by the Cult talking about electric." And I was like, "I don't want to hear that shit. It sucks. That band sucks." Then they played it, and I was like, "Wow, this is good. Oh, it's a different. Oh, it's not The Cure. Okay, Cult."
I love the Cult too.
Yeah, Cult, great band.
I like that.
Let's see what else we got here. Douglas Paxson said, "Did you know that Jimi Hendrix was in the Airborne?" Yeah, I think he was. He was stationed in Kentucky. Yeah, I heard that.
There's a cool interview of Jimi Hendrix with Dick Cavett, and I'm sure you can get on YouTube.
I remember seeing that. Yeah,
he talks about that being airborne. Jimi Hendrix in that interview was so cool because Dick Cavett saying, you're like the greatest guitar player, and you can tell, man, he hated that shit. He's like, he goes, I am the greatest guitar player in this chair. I'm not the greatest. He's fucking Hendrix was the shit, man.
Like 2 of his favorite guitar players were Terry Kath from Chicago and Billy Gibbons.
Yeah,
I remember him saying Billy Gibbons was his favorite guitar player before he died. I read something like that he said. He said that. Too bad Jimmy didn't grow up to see CeCe DeVille.
Yeah, he would have loved him.
Thank God.
Joe Breezel wants to know from Ralph, what's Ralph's top musician he's ever met? Now, Ralph's met a lot of people. He's got some videos showing all the people that he's met. Who's
musician? Wow.
Does that mean the coolest?
Or the best musician? Yeah, I'm kind of confused on the question.
Well, the coolest is Ronnie James Dio, but if we want to talk somebody that plays, off the top of my head, Chris Oliva would be the coolest, the best musician I ever met. Not the best musician I ever saw live, but the best musician I ever met, because I never met Eddie Van Halen or Randy Rhoads or Gary Moore or fucking Richie Blackmore, Those are my top dogs.
Hear you.
Chris Oliva.
Yeah. Seagull Rock Squawk, he said, yeah, he liked Smash Gladys. Sally Cato, that was the chick's name. Yeah, she passed away. Yep. King Dinosaur brought up Max Sabbath. Yeah, that's funny.
Oh,
You guys ever seen? They're hilarious, man.
It was a funny situation. I saw Queen that night because I've never seen Brian May or Roger Taylor. So I went to go see Queen with that Adam Lambert, who good voice and all, but man, really, I'd rather watch Gary Sharon on stage than that guy. That guy,
I agree.
That guy was just too much.
He's too much. He turns the show about him. It's like you're going to see the Adam Lambert show instead of celebrating the music of Freddie Mercury. You know, you're right, man. Gary Sharon would have been a better, or Jeff Scott Soto would have, either one of those guys. Yeah.
Well, I bring up Gary Sharon because he's annoying to watch live, but not as annoying.
Well, to me, one of the greatest things that I ever saw Extreme do was that tribute to Freddie Mercury they did at that concert, that Freddie Mercury concert. The Extreme medley of Queen songs was just exceptional. It's great.
I'd like to see like a duet, like a Hall & Oates with Adam Lambert, Gary Sharon, and Yannick Gears on guitar. Just watch them like hit each other on stage and be like bumper cars.
Yannick will fall over.
Janet Gears and Jimmy Page. That'd be awesome. Just call it slop.
But you were saying you saw Max Sabbath when you saw that?
I saw, so I went to go see Queen, right? And Max Sabbath was playing that same night at a club. And so I didn't see the encores of Queen because they didn't play We Are Champions or We Will Rock You yet. I figured, fuck it. Let me go to the Max Sabbath show. And dude, it was so fucking hot in there that Ian knows Charlie Hill and Daniela, they had to leave because Daniela was passing out from the fatigue of the heat. Anyway, the opening band was the Flanders, where they all looked like Ned Flanders. And they were pretty good. It was kind of hardcore, but they all looked like Ned Flanders. And then Max Sabbath, which was fucking hilarious. You know? I did get to see Max Sabbath. I bought a shirt.
Yeah, they're great live. The Ronald McDonald guy that's doing the Ozzy, he's flipping burgers. He's got a grill and he's flipping burgers, and his mic stand has a McDonald's cup and the straw coming out, you know.
Yeah, you got around here. I'd go see him if it's the weekend.
You got the Hamburglar on drums, but he's got Peter Criss makeup.
Yeah.
And of course, you got Grimace on bass and Merrick McCheese with the Motorhead, War Pig horns coming out. Yeah, they've got it down, man. And the band is good. They play very well. I mean, they're very tight players. Yeah,
Do you guys remember Dred Zeppelin?
Oh yeah, I didn't.
There's a documentary about them on YouTube. I saw. I could never get into it, but I remember it.
I bought the CD just to check. It was fucking terrible.
Yeah, it was awful. I remember.
Fat Elvis singer.
What was his name? Tort Elvis or something like that was his name. Yeah. Here's one for Ian from Jimmy Schwartz. Will Eddie and the Boozers reunite?
Oh, I see. We're spread across the country now, and just the logistics and touring expenses. Sure, if I could get enough money, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, but some of the members have cirrhosis of the liver.
That's all right. We'll use tapes like Kiss anyway. We'll just pop into fucking John Cafferty and fucking get up there and dance. I'd
say just get people and dress them up like the Boozers.
Why don't you just get avatars?
Yeah.
Me Metal Mike asked, what's the best AC/DC cover band you ever saw live?
I've never.
The best one I ever saw was the one fronted by Axl Rose that featured Angus Young.
Oh,
really
yeah.
Good.
That's fired. That's a good one.
They were awesome. They were awesome.
That was definitely the best fucking AC/DC show.
That's something I forgot to ask you on one of our shows. They made the announcement of the AC/DC North American tour. Are you guys interested in going at all, or?
It's in a stadium. we talked about it the other week. Ralph and I both agree we're done with stadium shows.
Done,
It's
man.
just too much.
I don't want to
Too
go
much.
to stadium shows. They're hot and muggy, and it's a fucking, and the prices are insane, and it's a 5-hour drive, and it's only Angus Young left. Come on.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Brian's doing it, right?
Yeah. Brian's doing it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
it's not Bond.
Yeah, I'm not a fan
Not-
of Chris Chaney, the bass player that they got, and no
Yeah.
Phil Rudd.
Yeah. No Phil Rudd, no Cliff Williams. Nah, that's all right.
And I wasn't impressed with Brian's performance that I saw at the Power Trip Festival. I didn't think it sounded that good.
I mean, I
Like,
wish
the
him
last
luck,
time I
more
saw
power
him-
to him. If you
Yeah.
want to go see him and you've never seen him and you got the money, you want to spend it, go
Yeah.
see it.
Why
I
would
have
you
no
want-
interest in it.
Why would you want to go see AC/DC without Mark Evans?
I think the last time I saw him was Ball Breaker Tour, and they were great.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still had Malcolm, you had Phil, Cliff. You know, I'd rather.
Yeah,
remember
you had the
that.
Back in Black lineup.
Yeah.
That show I saw with Axel was the last time I saw him, and they still had Cliff Williams, of course, and they had Chris Slade back on drums, and I mean Stevie Young, man, he did a great job.
That was an amazing show. It was.
I mean, it was really good. I went in with low expectations and walked out going, "Wow, that was really good," because Axel put his ego aside and he just put on a great show.
Yeah.
No,
And it was so many great songs. They played a ton of Bon Scott stuff. It was great show.
He made it the Angus show. You notice that?
Yeah.
Angus would go off. He'd go back to the speaker. Just have Angus do his shit, man. He didn't hog the stage. And I think that's the beginning of Axel stop playing late, because AC/DC, every show is on time. And then after that, all the Guns N' Roses shows were on time.
Yeah. Yeah, he grew up and he said, "It's not all about me," you know.
He grew up, now his voice sucks, and I love Guns N' Roses, but I can't. That's another person I wouldn't go see anymore.
Not without Izzy.
Music Jack's fan asked, "Have you guys ever traveled to Jack's for a concert? I miss the way the old Jack's Coliseum sound." You talking about Jacksonville Coliseum? Is that what you're talking about?
Been there. I've never been there.
Music Jack. I don't know if he was talking about the Club Jacks that was in Northern Virginia. I went there a lot.
I've been there. I saw Anthrax.
You must mean Jacksonville Coliseum is probably what he's talking about.
Nope.
Nicholas asked, "Are you guys familiar with the band Legend and the album From the Fjords, whatever this word is, FJORDS? I remember the new wave of British heavy metal band called Legend, but I'm not that familiar with them. I just know that there was a band called that. I never really listened to it. Let's see some repeats here. Emerald Sabbath is another cool Sabbath tribute band. Hadn't seen those. Mick Watkins asked, "What's everyone's favorite Uriah Heep albums? I know Dr. Fuck isn't a huge fan, but hopefully that's changed."
It has somewhat. Look at Yourself is my favorite, but I know this is going to sound blasphemous. But other than Look at Yourself, my other favorite, but you know, I still got to digest it, was their last one.
Yeah.
I like their last one more than Magician's Birthday and Obama Got all that shit. I like that last album more than all that, except for Look at Yourself. That album I really did like. And there's some very heavy songs on that first album. I can't remember the name of it, but there's some
very heavy, very humble. Yeah, that was the one with Gypsy. Gypsy's on the first album. It's self-titled here. Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of them. I love all their early stuff, you know, just the early days. But when they ended up getting John Lawton in on vocals, I love the first Lucifer's Friend album. John Lawton's voice is so great on that album. But those albums have seemed to be the ones that I have gravitated back to over the years. Fallen Angel, Mick would probably be my favorite at the moment. It's got some great songs on that one. Woman of the Night and just some really cool stuff on there. I really like John Lawton's vocals. And then, even some of the 80s stuff that they did when they had the other guy singing, whose name slips my mind right now. He sounded like Lou Gramm, but Abominog and Head First. Yeah. Those are good records as well. But
I love the first one, very heavy. Look at Yourself, Salisbury. As far as the John Lawton, which I really enjoy that era, Firefly is probably
Firefly's great. Yeah.
That's a really
that song, The Hanging Tree. God, it's so cool, man. Yeah. Great song.
That's one. Like when I went back and kind of got into them more, when I originally listened, it was all like, the original Brian shit, and then of course I knew Abominog. But when I got into John Lawton shit, I was like, wow, it was really. I mean, it was so different, but really good. But Firefly is the one that really grabbed. Fallen Angel's good too, but Firefly would definitely be my favorite of that era.
There's an unreleased album from that period too that never got released with him. Yeah, it's out on bootleg. Yeah, good stuff though. Yeah. Let's see here. King Dinosaurs. Where do you guys rank the Fast Eddie Clarke? Where do you guys rank Fast Eddie Clarke as a guitarist? I think he's highly underrated.
Fucking A-right he is.
For sure.
I totally give him a solid 10.
During listening to the Motorhead stuff, he's great riff writer. He had a lot of cool solos. A lot of the Motorhead stuff, it was very speedy, and he had a lot of just a lot of reverb and stuff in his sound. But then when you listen to Fastway, and he was kind of trying to go in a more commercial route. But man, God, his playing is so good on those records, man. Especially the first Fastway album, just amazing.
Solo section and We Become One.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
See, I like Fastway, but I don't think his playing holds a candle to what he did in Motorhead. And I think he deserves the kind of praise that most people give Ace Frehley, and he's it's not so much a technician, but much like Ace Frehley does have his own sound. I will give him that. But I mean, so does fucking Fast Eddie. And I love every lineup of Motorhead, but they never ever achieved that same sound as with Fast Eddie Clarke. And I love Phil Campbell. I love Wurzel. I love what Robbo did with them and shit. But Fast Eddie shit will never be topped. Those riffs, that playing, and I don't think people give it enough credit for the complexity of it too. I mean, it's not Yngwie shit, but it's 1,000 times better. Love Fast Eddie.
I want to give a shout out to Paul and Cecil that donates to my channel. He said, so I don't agree with it, but it made sense. He said Motorhead died after Fast Eddie was gone. I don't agree with that, but it is a different band. You get the sound of those fucking three on Bomber, Iron Fist, Ace of Spades, Overkill. That is a different. It's like Black Sabbath with Dio or John Corabi with Motley Crue. You take one component out and you put another one in. It changes the whole sound of the band. And
that happens with so many bands.
But though I worship like Sacrifice, Another Perfect Day, even the Aftershock. I love a lot of that later Motorhead. But
Orgasmatron said Abominog. Orgasmatron,
Orgasmatron, Rock and Roll, probably the most underrated album.
Yeah, I love Rock and Roll. That's got so many good songs. Favorites.
Rock and Roll is amazing. But my favorite is the Fast Eddie chip, man. Overkill, No Sleep Till Hammersmith, which it was Ian that brought it to my attention after decades thinking that album was recorded in Hammersmith. And Ian brought up that shit was recorded like somewhere in England, not Hammersmith. I was like, motherfucker. And I'm talking decades thinking it was recorded in Hammersmith.
Yeah, the title kind of alludes to that, doesn't it?
I think that's where it was ending, and they just like it was like kind of the fact that they were staying up on speed the whole tour, to that last date. Yeah, they recorded it before that. I don't know if it was the Bricks. I'm not sure where they recorded that at.
Joe asked, Dokken, Rat, or Crew? I guess it depends on the album. I'd say all three if it's like the early stuff, and that's about it.
Well, Crew would definitely be bottom. That's for sure.
Well, I think Shout the Devil is better than anything Rat or Dawkins done.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're looking at a whole,
at a whole, I'll say that's tough because I feel that.
All of them have stinker albums in their catalog. So
I feel the same way about Rat and Dokken. Rat started off stronger than Dokken because I think Breaking the Chains was kind of weak. But man,
I agree.
Nail, man, fuck.
Tooth and Nail's great.
Man. Every fucking song on that album.
I'd probably go Rat, Dokken, then Motley Poo. But I love some Dokken, man. George Lynch, man. Huge. My three favorite from the 80s, because I count Eddie as 70s, is Warren DeMartini, George Lynch, and Jake E. Lee. I don't think anybody could touch them in the 80s.
Great players. Retarded Dwarf just said Ebony Sabbath. Is that another tribute band?
Retarded Dwarf?
I don't know, but I don't think that's a cool name. You should change it to Down Syndrome Dwarf.
Yeah.
Because I am a Karen for life.
Ebony Sabbath. Ebony made me think of. I watched this cool interview on Talk Louder podcast, the one that Jason McMaster does with Metal Dave.
Yeah,
they had a really good. It was almost 2 hours long with Nick Bocock the other week from Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper,
and he had so many great stories. And I never knew. The label Grim Reaper was on originally, the Ebony Records.
Yeah.
He said that record label was in England, it was like public housing, like welfare housing. This dude lived there, and that was Ebony Studios. You recorded the band set up, recorded in the living room, and did vocals in like the kitchen, but it was in public housing. That's pretty crazy to even think about, man. Ebony Records,
and that's a damn good sounding record, man.
Yeah,
Grim Reaper is better than Motley Crue.
You're talking about See You in Hell, right?
Yeah.
See You in Hell sounds great.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. He's still talking about that guy with the punk thing. Joe was talking about. Well, we'll move on from that. See, Anthony Castello. I'm 16, new to metal. Can you recommend a Sammy Hagar album?
No.
Montrose. Get the first Montrose record.
No, don't do it. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
Go on YouTube and find Montrose without vocals. Damn good album.
So, are you 16 and you're trying to tell your father you're gay? Just buy any Sammy Hagar record and give it to your dad. He'll know.
Music Jack's fan said Ken Tamplin is teaching Milli Vanilli, blaming on the rain.
Hey, little did we know Milli Vanilli would be trailblazers.
Oh yeah, man. They were innovators, man.
They were doing that shit way before Paul Stanley.
Joe said Ralph actually hates Merciful Fate. He's just, I guess you're just doing it for the money.
I'm going to announce next week my retirement that I always hated 80s Fate and 70s Sabbath. That I'm a big fan of Moby Grape.
Yeah, Moby Grape. Hell yeah.
What was the guy's name in Woodstock? Richie Havens, was that his name? The black guy acoustic?
Yeah.
Major fan.
Yeah, that's your favorite, man. Yeah, you have all the records and
yeah.
I heard you had like 15 Richie Havens t-shirts, man. Yeah.
And
77
big
77 music. Oh yeah, 77 music that says Tony Dio, friend of mine, got to hang out with you at the Wasp shows past month. Said I wish I could have made it. Yeah, great show. I met some people there. Yeah, it was cool. Let's see. Retarded Dwarf says, dip like the Hawk coin biatch. Is any of that internet stuff real or just a bunch of paid dupes? I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, he said. Joe said I've only seen ever seen videos with Dio that Dio was in. Yeah, yeah. Not a big Dio guy.
By the way, the reason that you don't understand that last comment is because he's retarded.
Yeah, you should make fun of him when you read that.
Oh man.
Who
All
said
right,
they don't
so
like Dio? You don't like Dio?
Tarek Garmani says, "Hey Ralph."
Yeah.
Oh, he's guessing. Hey Ralph, you ever made a video about Gene's take on how rock is dead? He's been bringing it up recently. I think you have, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. And with his recent shit, it was kind of like he's saying exactly what he said before. And he's wrong. I mean, I believe rock is dead, but he's wrong for the reason rock being dead. Because he's blaming it on people downloading music. Who the fuck downloads music anymore? You know, nobody does except for Mr. X. You know,
Excuse me.
Everybody streams. Nobody even wants MP3s anymore. They don't even want that invisible MP3 in their computer. They want to stream everything. You know what I mean? And shit. I just got this letter the other day. I'm not going to talk about the amount of money, but I totally forgot about CD Baby selling my shit. And I'm talking about years ago. This is when I lived at the condo. They just recently sent me a letter that they owe me a shitload of money. I mean, an insane amount of money. I was like, fuck. I just got it.
So they're cutting you a check?
I don't know. I gotta call that number on the letter to figure out they owe me all this money. So I'm like, and a lot of that money is from Spotify, but the major amount of money is physical media. I mean, I'm not going to
your money and you want it now.
I get a lot of down or streams on Spotify because I get a list every month, a huge list, and it ends up I owe them 2 pennies, with all this. So I know that has nothing to do with fucking streaming.
Wow.
I don't think.
I hope you get it, man.
It is a crazy amount of money, though. I'm like, fuck.
They're gonna have to give you a structured settlement. You have to call JD Wentworth.
Yeah,
877 cash now. Let's see. What was your first impression when you heard Vivian Campbell join Def Leppard, and were you hopeful it would be a return to form after Vivian played for Dio?
Well, he joined them already when that crappy album was done.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, what was it? Slang? Was it Slang?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did. They had that greatest hits that they had new music on. And
retroactive. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, he joined a band. Good for him. He makes a fat paycheck now, and he's able to do his last in line thing when he wants to shred, so good for him, whatever.
Yeah, no, I had no hope because already he had done Whitesnake, which,
it's not like he was going to go in there and go, hey, we need to go back sounding like High and Dry, it's just
right.
not
And then
happen.
He also had and before that, he did that Shadow King thing with Lou Gramm, and that wasn't no fucking, holy diver.
I bought River Dogs, and I was
for River Dogs, yeah. River Dogs, yeah.
I didn't like River Dogs when it first came out. I actually like it now. It's not a bad record. It's kind of cool.
I bought it. I did buy it, and I don't think I played it more than once or twice,
And also, I remember an interview with Vivian Campbell around the time he joined Def Leppard, and he was saying that he was much more in tune with that kind of music than he was with what he played with Dio, and that turned me off right there. And I'm like, okay.
Oh no, right. During that time, he was bad mouthing Dio a lot.
Well, it wasn't only that though, but it was like the music. Like he always, just praising Def Leppard, and I was so over Def Leppard. I mean, what little hope I had. I remember watching the world premiere on MTV of "Do You Want to Get Rocked," and I was like, "Oh God, it's done." It's final nail in the coffin after Hysteria.
That came out at the same time as Nirvana, right? That song.
Yeah, it was right around that time because the funny thing is, I remember it was like MTV, like movie awards or MTV like video awards or whatever, and you had, I think it was like Nirvana and Def Leppard were on the same show, but it was like it was so obvious that it was so over for Def Leppard, and you could tell Nirvana was what was coming. But even as a rock fan, like, I wanted Nirvana more than Def Leppard, To me, it was fresh. It was different, It was better than what the cock rock bands were putting out. It was better than Nelson and all that shit.
I was more getting into more of the, the thrash and the underground bands around that period. So, yeah.
Oh, I definitely around that time I got more into thrash, when the hair metal bands started getting really shitty, when you had shit like Danger and all that shit. I just went in all more into the heavier shit.
Someone asked Dave Mude asked, has anyone heard of Jesse Wales on YouTube the last year or so? I think he started it on TikTok before he made a YouTube channel. People say that he's the new Dylan. He reminds me a little bit of John Prine. Are you guys familiar with him? I bet Manny would know who he is. Yeah,
I mean, I know who John Prine is. I know Bob Dylan is.
I know.
I have no idea who this guy is.
No, I didn't know if you guys had heard of him. No. Let's see. Sebastian asked us a question. He's somebody you brought up, Chris Oliva early. Gutter Ballet or Streets? Which one do you like?
I'm gonna go with Gutter Ballet because of Mentally Yours and of Rage and War. But man, Streets has Agony and Ecstasy and Text. Something Text and Believe. Oh my.
Yeah. What? When Streets came out, man, I just didn't get it at the time. It's not what I wanted to hear from Sabotage. I mean, I was just so big into it. Not even just Hollow Mountain King. I love Sirens and Dungeons of Calling so much, man, and even in Power of the Night.
Power of the Night,
and and Streets came out. I just didn't get it at the time, and it took me a few years before kind of rediscovering Sabotage a few years later. But yeah, it's such a great record. I got that new version that came out with the narration between the songs.
I didn't even know. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it's out. It's just.
I say neither. Those are two of the worst records I've ever heard in my life. I had a friend who lent me like a bunch of stuff. Like he had a pretty impressive collection, like I did, of CDs and stuff. And I went over and just, we're comparing collections. And he's giving me all this shit that I'd never like really got into. Like at that time, I really wasn't a big Overkill. It took me a long time to get into Overkill. Now they're one of my favorite thrash bands, but I got some Overkill from him, and he was really pushing Sabotage on me. And at that point, all I knew was, Hall of the Mountain King. And I just knew the song, And he let me borrow Gutter Ballet and Streets, and I was like, oh, hell no. But I'm like, starting to like this Overkill shit, But no on the Sabotage.
It's not for everyone, that's for sure. But yeah, I'll probably go Gutter Ballet myself over the two. I really love that album.
I'd have to go. She Is Love. It's another great one. I love the bonus track. Thorazine
Shuffle. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because you guys being fans of this band. Would you take either two of those albums over Hall of the Mountain King?
No.
Okay.
Hall of the Mountain King's my favorite.
Sirens is probably my favorite. Let's see. Kyron asked, what are you guys' thoughts on Nico McBrain retiring from the touring with Iron Maiden? Yeah, I think more power to you. Cheers to you, Nico. Great service, many years.
Too bad the other five don't retire as well.
No, I think it's great. I just wish he would retire from the studio as well. And then I love Nico, but man, it's over. And it's how long's it been since there was some interesting drumming on an Iron Maiden album? And
I mean, it's an interesting Iron Maiden record. I mean, for me,
yeah,
the new
we're getting real.
music bores me, you know.
But I agree with you 100%. The thing I like, and maybe it's far too late because when this happened to Priest, they were still much younger. But I'm hoping like maybe a new drummer could light a fire under their ass the same way, Scott Travis did with Judas Priest. I mean, that band, I know it's not Ralph's favorite, but fucking Painkiller, Jesus Christ. I mean, after you hear fucking Turbo and fucking Ram It Down to go to Painkiller. And I would love that for Maiden, because especially since I saw them a couple months back now. I've been on such a huge Maiden kick, but of course it's all like the first 5 albums, 5, 6 albums. But I'm like, God damn, I love this band. And I would like to hear that kind of fire under their ass. But that's going to require shorter songs and heavier material. And with them all in their 60s, I don't know. I mean, Judas Priest, when they got, did Painkiller, I don't know. They could have still been in their late 30s,
They were in their 40s, yeah.
Were they in their 40s?
Yeah,
okay.
I see what you're saying for sure. Yeah. Could you imagine Maiden come out with something that sounded like, Peace of Mind or something like that?
I would love it. I would love it.
It would be awesome.
To see them end on something like that, rather than ending on these horrible albums they've been putting out since the reunion with Dickinson, because I do love this. I love fucking early Iron Maiden, but
I like a song. I like a song or two from the. I like Brave New World, and I like a few songs on some of the later albums, but it's not even comparison to early stuff.
For the record, I'll take Painkiller over Turbo and Ram It Down, but I will not take it over anything under Defenders, even Rock and Roll album.
Okay, we got another one here for us. Mean Metal Mike says Brutal Planet or Last Temptation for Alice Cooper.
Brutal Planet for me.
Yeah, Brutal. There's some songs
I'm gonna
that
go
I
last.
there's some songs that I really love on Last Temptation. But overall, it's way too overproduced. Way too overproduced.
I love Cleanse My Fire on Last Temptation. That's a great tune. Where you can hear where he's going with Brutal Planet. Yeah. That song sounds like something that would be on Brutal Planet.
And the one with Chris Cornell is awesome too, Stolen Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Great song, but Cornell's what makes it. I mean, Alice, ever since the original Alice Cooper band broke up, he just jumps on whatever trend there is, and fucking Brutal Planet is such a Marilyn Manson ripoff, but I love it. I love it. And
I can't get into it.
The song You Took It Like a Woman, I think, is one of his best ballads ever. I think it's really good.
He did Beautiful People better than Beautiful People.
But then he did that horrible Dragon Town after that. Like, oh God.
Yeah.
That's one of his worst.
That's not good at all.
It started strong. Trigger Man's a badass song. But then
I don't even think I like that. But I mean, if you look at Alice's career after the original band, I mean, he jumped on new wave, he jumped on hair metal, he jumped on whatever trend, and Kiss did the same thing. And when I really when Alice got me back, I mean, I still check out every album, but when he did Eyes of Alice Cooper and Dirty Diamonds, he stopped trying to sound like what was current, and he just did what people loved in the first place. And those are to me, I'll take those two albums over fucking Welcome to My Nightmare.
Same, man. Great records. And it was very much a return to form to the 70s sound that he made with the original band.
I'll take it over anything he did after. I think ever since Bob Ezrin came back, to me, they've been horrible albums. Yet Bob Ezrin's kicking ass with Deep Purple.
Weird.
Yeah, I guess it's just a project, whatever he's doing. Yeah.
And I've said it before on the show, but I've never seen such shame in my father's face as when he took me to my first concert was Tesla and Alice Cooper. My dad, huge Cooper fan. And I like Constrictor because it sounded like, the cock rock shit I was listening to at the time. And I was mad because he didn't play Teenage Frankenstein. Or no, He's Back, the Man Behind the Mask. No, it's like, he played that goddamn Telephone's Ringing song. And my dad just looked at me like, There is no way, no way you come from my loins.
My loins.
You know,
awesome.
and now it's like, oh my God, I'm bitching about under my wheels. It's like, I don't want to hear that fucking horrible constrictor shit, you know, but as a kid.
I like,
You know,
I like,
he brought Man Behind the Mask back on the last couple of tours.
and when he did play it, it was way better than the studio version, in my opinion.
Right.
No keyboards because he doesn't have a keyboard player
Yeah, he got the
anymore. They do
guitar.
everything on guitar. Yeah.
It was ripping. It was awesome. And I hate that song, but live it was cool.
And I remember my dad listening when I bought was the one at Raise Your Fist and Yell. My dad always liked to take a bath. He'd take a bath, go in there with like a pack of cigarettes, a beer, and a boom box, you know, and listen to music. He'd take a long bath. I'm like, Dad, you got to check out the new Alice Cooper. And he came out. He stayed in the tub for the whole damn album, and he's just like, not my Alice Cooper. And I get it. I mean, I like Raise Your Fist and Yell, you know, but as somebody who grew up with the Alice Cooper group, I could see where he's like, what the fuck is this shit? Because it was Alice Cooper being trendy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to stay afloat in the business, I guess.
Yeah. Just like Kiss.
Kyron asked, here's one for you. Kyron asked, thoughts on the Grateful Dead?
Love them.
Hate them.
Yeah.
I like a few songs by them, but I'm not a fan at all, really. A couple of songs they've got I thought were pretty cool.
It took me a long time to get into them, but like the older I get, the more I'm into like different like kind of jam band shit, and I can appreciate it more. But much like, you know, Ralph talks about buying the Blues for Allah album because like the cover looked great, you know, and he's like, what the fuck is this hippie shit?
Yeah, I bought. When I was a kid, I didn't know Grateful Dead, and I
thought it was
that album,
cool name.
The skeleton with the violin.
Yeah.
Blues for Allah. And they're called Grateful Dead. Oh, this is heavy. You know, J.J. French said the best thing about Grateful Dead. He said he saw Grateful Dead a bunch of times back in the day. Like every time the Grateful Dead came around, he was there because he was a huge fan. Then he stopped taking drugs. And he said, it was the worst music I ever heard. It's only good for drugs.
It's like fish. It's like fish, man. You got to be pretty doped up to enjoy fish.
And I think it's one of those things, probably you can enjoy it more if you're at the show. It's part of the experience. And that's what kind of turned me off too. Like when I was younger, I didn't go see the Dead because it seemed too trendy, you know, like it was more about, I don't know, just about, it wasn't about the music. It was about the experience and shit. And that kind of turned me off. But the older I get, I appreciate them much more. And my son, it's so funny. Like my wife bought me a Grateful Dead shirt. And he was making fun of me. He's like, you listen to that crap? And then he went and saw the current, like the Dead with fucking John Mayer and shit like that. And now he loves them. He's this big, big fan. In fact, I just got the Grateful Dead movie on Blu-ray for Christmas. And I gave him my old DVD copy. But no, I love them. But I get it. Like anybody who doesn't like the Dead, I ain't going to fucking judge you. It's, it's an acquired taste and it is what it is. It definitely ain't metal.
The songs that I actually somewhat like by them are the more country songs because I grew up on country and when I was a little kid and and my brother was a big fan of the Dead and I just remember some of those songs that would play like whenever I hear Ripple, I always think of that scene in the movie Mask with Cher where she comes home and finds him dead. That's the song that's playing.
Right.
I always think about that scene of that movie whenever I hear. I
love that movie.
Let's see where we are. Guilty of being right. Said I'm seeing the Scorpions in March in Las Vegas. Cool. I'd love to see them.
They're great. They're great with Mickey D. I saw it. It was awesome.
The last couple of videos I've seen of them live or whatever. Klaus is getting on up there. He's in his 70s and he seems kind of tired. But I'd love to see him again. And Count Ralph says, is it true that Tony's parents named him after Iomi And Ronnie James. Yeah, it is. It is. Let's see. Al Horta is in the house.
Al Horta.
He says no Dave Evans, no AC/DC.
Yeah, I
He would say that.
I said that earlier, Al.
Yeah. Let's see. Have you guys ever heard of the band called King's X? Oh yeah, of course. I like King's X a lot. They're one of those bands that I've seen them several times, and there was one of those bands.
AC/DC Razor's Edge tour.
I first saw them sandwiched between Motley Crue, Karabi era, and Typo Negative. Typo Negative was opening. King's X was in the middle slot on the Dogman tour, supporting that album, and Motley Crue with Karabi. And that's when I got it, because I had heard King's X. I was like, that It's Love video would play on Headbangers Ball. And go, why is this on Headbangers Ball? It sounds like the Beatles. And why are these guys on Megaforce Records? I just didn't get it. Yeah. And Dog Band sold me. Seeing them live, I went out and got that album, and yeah, it sold me. And I've seen them numerous times. And I don't like every album they've ever done. They've got some clunkers in there, but they've made a lot of good music, and they're always great to see live, man. Just a great power trio.
And for some of the metal fans out there, huge fans of King's X were Dimebag and Vinny. Mm-hmm. And a matter of fact, that's why they ended up looking up Terry Date as a producer, because of what he did on Gretchen Goes to Nebraska, their second album. Mm-hmm. And Terry Date's one of my favorite producers of all fucking time.
Oh yeah, did the first Metal Church album. Yeah. Fucking smoking. Yeah. Let's see. I'd read Metal Ben's Chronicles. I'd rather listen to a band like 77 than the current AC/DC. Yeah, I'm familiar with 77. Yeah, they're an AC/DC clone type band, kind of like
Airborne.
Like when you hear like Airborne, something like. But I like Airborne. I thought they were cool, especially the first album. But the 77 really sounds like Bon Scott era AC/DC. It's like they're really going for that, to capture that sound. But yeah, if you like them, you like them. Baltimore football history said the last time he saw AC/DC was Baltimore Civic Center for those about to rock tour. Good enough for him. Yeah, brother, you saw that tour. That's a good one to keep fucking the memory of.
That was my first time seeing AC/DC was that tour.
Yeah. I think the last time I saw them with Brian singing was Stiff Upper Lip tour. Yeah.
I saw.
Wow. That's the first time you saw him with Brian?
The last time I saw him with Brian.
Oh, the last time. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw Ballbreaker. A couple times. My first AC/DC concert was the Blow Up Your Video tour.
Yeah, I've seen every single AC/DC tour for those about to rock, except Who Made Who didn't come down here. But I've seen every other tour, and the best time I saw him with Brian, Flick of the Switch. That was amazing.
Ralph, do you remember it all when you saw him on For Those About to Rock?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what they played off of that album? Because I've never seen him play anything other than the title track.
I got unlucky because my favorite song on there, Inject the Venom, was played early in the tour. By the time it got to me, they didn't play it. What they did play,
Put the Finger on You.
Put the Finger on You, Let's Get It Up, Evil Walks.
Nice.
And For Those About to Rock. I think
like COD or Spellbound, I would love to see.
Yeah, I love COD. Yeah, I've heard some bootlegs of some of the stuff that Ralph says. I remember they actually even had a video for Put the Finger on You that was live.
Yeah,
right. They cut because the live version, they cut a verse out when they played it. That part about I got fire in my fingertips. They don't even sing that line. They just kind of jump to the chorus. Yeah, I'm sure that video's on YouTube somewhere. Kyron asked if Van Halen was releasing a box set of unreleased David Lee Roth material. Are you guys looking forward to buying it? I mean, I would, but I predict that the first thing that they ever, if Wolfgang decides he's going to start letting stuff out, I guarantee you the first stuff comes out is going to be stuff we've already got, all the early demos and the Warner Brother demos and Gene Simmons produced demos, stuff that we've already got. I might just sound a little better. But
Yeah, and I'm all for that. I mean, I think we all have that. I have numerous like versions of like what they call zero or the Gene Simmons demos. I have like a ton of high quality Dave bootlegs. I think it's going to be a long time before we see that shit. And unfortunately, I think there's probably more shit, in the vault that's from the Hagar the Horrible period and onward,
yeah,
And
it
I have
probably
zero
is.
interest
I
in that.
believe there is a second album with Sharon. I believe.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Let's see. Tonight I heard the news. This is from Stephanie. She says, tonight I heard the new single Spider Lily from King Diamond, and it rules. Yeah, I thought it was cool. The videos, they got a music video for it as well. It's cool.
I liked it.
Was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff. Let's see.
I will say I think it sounded very enhanced though. Like some studio magic. But I mean, he's getting pretty fucking old. But the song itself was awesome, giving me hope for the fucking album.
Yeah, a couple people said their favorite Uriah Heep album was Firefly. Agreeing with you, Ian.
Nice.
Baltimore football history. So I like going to the bar, listening to the jukebox more than seeing nursing homes on stage. Yeah, some of these guys are really getting up there. You're right.
I don't feel like going to shows anymore. I just miss Cheap Trick. I never miss Cheap Trick, and I just did.
I bitch about it because I miss so many like bands that I want to see play here during the week, and I can't make the shows because of the hours that I work. But that being said, probably even more so than that, my biggest complaint would be set lists. When I do see these bands that I love, I don't want I want the deep tracks, and unfortunately, that's just not a reality because they're going to play to the masses. They're going to play to not me. They're going to play to the people who know shit from the radio, if they even work a radio band or.
You may not be aware of this, Ian, but a lot of shit these bands play that's overplayed. The promoters are paying them to play those songs.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. I heard Ace. Promoters are paying him to play Love Gun and shit. They want him to play more the Kiss songs than the Ace solo songs.
Well, that's because they heard the new Ace solo album. But like, if I saw Ace, I'd rather hear Fraley's Comet shit. You're not going to,
For him not to play In the Night is a crime.
Yeah. It's great. He should be playing that. It's a great song.
It's an awesome.
And then the thing is, you see him, like, he's not playing shit. It's the other band doing all the heavy lifting, singing and doing shit.
Yeah, if he did
fucking Kiss songs you're burned out on.
It'd be our luck, Ralph, if he said they're going to do Into the Night on this tour, and then they'd start playing it, and one of the other guys would be singing it.
Yeah.
And Ace was just looking at the guitar. You trying to
if you're lucky,
like he remembers it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're lucky, one of the other guys would be playing it on guitar too.
Just what I'm saying. He's probably not even playing it. He's probably turned down.
I saw recent footage of him doing Speeding Back to My Baby where one of the band members is singing it.
Yep. Totally.
I'd be pissed if I was there.
Wow. Solo album shit he can't even do.
Nope. Fucking pathetic.
Joel Breeze asks, what is the holy grail of musicians and or bands all of you would like to meet?
Man, when they were alive, Pantera, I would have loved to meet them.
Yeah.
I mean, I briefly met Dime.
Yeah, so did I. But it was very brief. I went to see them when they were still doing clubs, when Cowboys first came out. And I was at
them during Cowboys.
And I was climbing up on the side of pulling up on the side of the stage, shouting out all these old song titles from the early records and stuff. And Dime's like, we don't play any of that stuff. And then after it was over, he goes, man, we don't play any of that stuff anymore, man. And he gave me a pick. That's where I got my Diamond Daryl pick that night from him. But yeah,
I've met Phil a bunch of times. Met Rex. Got hit in the head by Dimebag, but didn't get to actually meet him. But, I don't know.
God, man, I'd love to meet Iommi.
Yeah, Sabbath would be bucket list, and
I met Geezer.
And the Police. And more so, I would love to meet Andy Summers and Stuart Copeland. Sting would be all right, but I'd rather hang out with Stuart Copeland than Andy Summers.
Yeah, Iommi would probably be one of my tops for sure. I've met so many people through the years and stuff, But
Bill Ward, I would definitely love to.
I'd love to meet Bill Ward. Yeah, I think he'd be really cool. I have a friend that was, Richard that was on here with us. He worked with Bill Ward and stuff. So, yeah, seems like just a super genuinely cool guy for sure. Let's see. Mean Metal Mike says Another Perfect Day is still my most spin Motorhead album. Yeah, I love that one too. People still talking about Uriah Heep. One guy says Salisbury's great. Kyron says he loves High and Mighty album. That's one, Kyron, that I've kind of neglected to really try to get into, is the High and Mighty album. I think that was the last David Byron album, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Al Horter says great Cold Chat t-shirt, Ian.
Oh. Hang on.
Let's see. Montana Hales says, lately I've been getting into soundtrack music, oddly enough. Do y'all have a favorite movie soundtrack? Somebody else asked a while ago, does Ralph have a favorite movie soundtrack? Yeah.
Mine's very simple. It's Phantom of the Paradise. That's my favorite soundtrack of all time. I worship that fucking album.
I guess I'm kind of. Are you talking about like a soundtrack or like a score?
Like a score? Yeah,
that's what I'm wondering. If it's like a score, definitely love listening to anything John Carpenter. I have all of John Carpenter's on record and shit. I love the soundtrack to The Godfather. And funny enough, if you want to listen to the better album, Jaws 2. The soundtrack to that is amazing. John Williams score. And like overall, I mean, it has the main theme from the original, but the overall score of the movie is really good. I've had that on vinyl since I was a kid.
We have Jaws, the original Jaws. Linda has the Jaws soundtrack. I gave Linda for Christmas, I gave her the soundtracks for Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, and Empire Strikes Back. The original pressing. She didn't own them, and she's a big fan. So
what I have on vinyl, which is a score to a movie that I really like, is the first Rocky. Bill Conti.
Yeah.
I like that album. I have that on vinyl.
Probably for me, for scores, I like the Star Wars stuff, and I like the Warriors score was good as well. And but as far as just a soundtrack, I don't know, man. Probably Trick or Treat or Who Made Who or something like that. I don't know. Let's see.
Hero, that was okay.
Yeah.
There's some great shit on there, but there's some garbage on there too. Oh, that
like Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Yeah. Or Shocker, where you get the Shocker All-Star Band with Paul Stanley and Guy Mandude. And
Sword in the Stone. That should have been on a fucking Kiss record, man.
That song it rules. Yeah, best Kiss song that never got released.
I think it was Ron Nevinson who shot that down. That was supposed to be
he thought Bang Bang You was going to be a huge hit. Ron Nevinson should have just got away from the cocaine that day and did a little thinking. People talking about some Motorhead albums. Sacrifice is very underrated Motorhead album. That's a good one. Inferno and Kiss or Death are killer Motorhead albums. Let's see. Count Ralph says, last summer I watched both Kolchak TV movies and complete TV series. It was weird seeing Kolchak as Ralphie's dad in A Christmas Story. Yeah. That was on yesterday. We were watching that yesterday. You know, I don't know if it's true about the Christmas Story movie, but I heard it flopped in the theaters when it originally came out.
It did okay, but it didn't do well.
Then it's got this picked up cult status from television syndication.
Yeah. I was telling a funny story. I remember when it came out in November, and I went with my dad on a Sunday afternoon. We went and saw A Christmas Story, like a matinee. And then at night, we went back to the theater and saw Amityville 3D. 3D. Horrible movie. But I love Christmas Story.
Yeah, it's funny stuff in that one. Great lines. Let's see. Baltimore Football History says, give me $100 touch tunes and Rumple Mints at a local bar and I'm happy. Yeah, I guess he's still talking about not going to shows. Yeah. Let's see. Kyron Golston wants to know our thoughts on Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. That's my favorite movie soundtrack. Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Yeah.
I love it. Cheesy as fuck, man. I remember they used to replay it on CBS on weekends. Every once in a while, when I first got into Kiss in the mid 80s, I just missed it. And I would look like my grandparents would get the TV guide and I would look every week to see if they were going to show it. And then I remember when they put it out on VHS in the late 90s, I bought a copy and I love it. And, but I hate the one that they put on the Kissology, the international version that's got like the solo album music. Ralph actually sent me a copy of the original, and that's the best version I have right now. I mean, unfortunately, it's a fucking, I think it's like an MP4, but the bit rate is so low. I wish they would put out like a fucking Blu-ray, and I've seen there's a guy who sells it on eBay, but he's basically doing an upscale, so I don't know about the quality. I almost pulled the trigger and bought it. It was like $14. And I know this guy. He's a Kiss. He sells all kinds of Kiss shit. He's from Louisiana, and I've bought some decent shit from him. But I wish they would put out like a really Kiss themselves would put out a really good copy of Phantom of the Park. I do love it. It's so bad it's good.
They're probably going to redo it with the avatars. Remake it.
There is somebody.
Kiss Saves Christmas is better.
Yeah, there is somebody out there that recently meshed both the American and European version, and it's really good. It's better than both versions, if you ask me.
Well, there's scenes in the European version you didn't see in the American version. There's some different takes. I didn't realize that it was different when I bought Kissology at first. I didn't even pay any, I don't even think I watched it for the longest time. I was watching all the other stuff on it. And I finally put it on one day when I was showing it to someone, and I was like, wow, this is like a different cut. It's like some different scenes, and of course, all the solo music was from the solo albums was the soundtrack. But
that's another thing I'd like to get that you don't see. I guess there's just not money in it, but there's so many like 80s home videos or even 90s like DVDs that I would love to see. I mean, I'm going to be realistic. It's not probably going to get 4K treatment, but at least to like Blu-ray. Like a bunch of the old Iron Maiden stuff and the Kiss shit. I mean, as much as I shit on Kiss, if they put out fucking Kiss Extreme Close-Up on Blu-ray, I'd go buy it. If they put out fucking Exposed, I mean, I have these on DVD, but I would like a better, a Blu-ray with a better sound quality to them. Shit like fucking Live After Death. I've got the DVD, but I would love like a nice fucking Dolby Atmos mix, or at least a 5.1 mix, would be great. Because I was one of those guys, and I'm sure you guys were too. I mean, we bought all these old VHSs and DVDs back in the day when our favorite bands put out, all these home videos. That shit, man, it was all about that. Friends would come over and you'd watch that shit. It'd be great.
I bought Cliff 'em All and Kiss Exposed before I even owned a VCR. I would take them to other people's houses and watch it. You know.
Oh man, Cliff Mall was such a big deal when that came out. That was
yeah,
cool.
amazing. Yeah. So Clay's Customs, KLA Customs. First time watching this live is very cool. Whatever happened to Stanley from Life, Sex, and Death? The LSD band had some pretty cool songs, and I got a kick out of it. I saw that. I pulled the CD, Life, Sex, and Death.
I'm a tank.
You know, I think they got back together and did some shows or something not long ago. But Alex Kane, the guitarist, I met him. He was playing in the band Stars, the old band. He was playing with them, and also that Guns N' Roses band that Dick Twatkins was touring with recently. He's the guitar player in that Guns N' Roses band as well. That touring tribute.
I was on YouTube the other day, and I think I saved it to my watch later. But I think it's a recent video of what Stanley, is doing now. And there's all kinds of debate. Is that all an act,
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
That's what I heard. I heard he wasn't homeless.
I heard he's the Punk Rock MBA.
Yeah.
But what a weird band. I like that song. I love Tank when it came out and saw it on Headbangers Ball, but I never pulled the trigger and bought the album. Is it any good?
Yeah, I thought it was good. It's got some good stuff on it. Yeah. Pretty heavy, cool guitar riffs. Though. Good guitar riffs on it. Yeah. Kyron asked, thoughts on Little River Band? I have none.
Love them.
Just
but like
don't
greatest hits though.
I love their hits. It's very yacht rock.
Yeah, no, I love the hits, but I got like an expanded greatest hits. I'm like, yeah, let me delve a little bit deeper into this band. I did not like one song that I didn't already know off the fucking radio, But those but it's like, it's yacht rock. It's like fucking, Australian Supertramp kind of fucking shit. But fucking Night Owl's awesome and, shit like that.
Let's see. Kev Thuhu asked opinions on Iggy and the Stooges. First punk rock band.
Love them.
I love Raw Power. I wasn't into Funhouse.
Yeah, Raw Power is cool.
I like Raw Power. I saw them. They played a free show on the actual beach. On the beach, the Stooges. One of their reunions. This was maybe 2000, maybe the year 2000, around there.
Yeah. No, love them. I was raised on that shit. I've got every album that Iggy Pop's ever been part of. My first club show was fucking Iggy. First time I got on stage, and I was too scared to stage dive, so I just jumped off the stage. And my dad.
How old were you then?
I don't know if I was 16 yet. But my dad, who had been a fan since the very first Stooges album, it was me and my dad, and I think she was his girlfriend at the time. We went into Chicago to go see him. I can't remember if it was the Aragon Ballroom. I think it might have been. But anyway, they come on and people started moshing. And my dad wasn't using, so my dad just started punching people. My dad just started like to knock fuckers out right away. We got thrown out by the second song.
Wow.
It was,
crazy.
Yeah, it was a wild night, but that was the what was that fucking horrible album he put out? Brick by Brick. Not a good Iggy album, but yeah, 90, so I was either 15 or 16.
Here's a good one from Sam Russo. What are you guys' favorite Who albums? Or album by the Who?
Who's Next is mine.
Yeah, I mean that's their best. I'm weird. I love the Who. I saw the Who in '89, but there are people out there who are much bigger fans of the Who than me. I love a lot of their songs. I don't really have a particular. Who's Next is probably the one that I would be my go-to record. I have a couple of CDs by them, and that's one of them.
but most of the stuff I have is live and greatest hits and compilations, like that rock and roll box set that came out years ago. It had a lot of cool stuff. Maximum rock and roll. Yeah, that's a
Maximum
good
R&B. Yeah.
Going back talking about home videos though. I love The Kids Are All Right. That is such a great documentary.
Probably my favorite rock documentary.
Amazing. It is so cool. I love it's just all the old footage they got when they were on the Smothers Brothers Hour and all that shit, man. You know, it's just so. And that interview that they're doing where like Moon's, you know, like playing with the thread and all that stuff, and just Moon was a nut, man. He was such a nut, but that's such a cool documentary. Yeah.
You know, Roger Daltrey was, I think, on Howard Stern, one of these shows, talking about, you know, it wasn't diagnosed back then, but Keith Moon was very autistic. And he said he caught Keith Moon once on the 30th floor of a hotel dancing on top of one of those air conditioners, dancing on it. You know, it's the guy was mad. I love The Who like crazy. I love pretty much all their albums. I thought their last one was phenomenal. I like Endless Wire. I like the Kenny Jones stuff. But man, to me, Who's Next? Quadrophenia. And I love Who by Numbers. Not very liked. You know, Carol from Death Angel was a huge Who fan. And we did a show talking about all their albums. He wasn't a fan of Who by Numbers.
I tried to get in that album and couldn't. I think the Who, like when I was growing up, the big three, you know, if you're talking classic rock bands, was the Beatles, the Stones, and the Who. They were like Mount Rushmore. And I would say Who's Next is their best album. But I think the Who are better at songs than they are at albums. Like they have songs that are incredible, but as far as full albums, you know, I'd give it to fucking Who's Next all day long. But yeah, I love Face Dances too. But like, you know, the last one before they split up.
The Who.
No, it's hard. When Kenny Jones was in the band, it's like Eminence Front, one of the best songs ever. That fucking riff, oh my god,
I love it.
But as a whole, the album's not that good, and I feel that way with a lot of Who albums. They have songs that any band would kill to write, but as far as an album, I don't think they ever made albums as strong as the Beatles and the Stones did.
Yeah. Yeah, I only got to see them once, and that was it was mid-90s, late 90s. They did the whole Quadrophenia album live when I saw them. And then they came back. Well. Then they came back just Roger and Pete, and they did an unplugged set afterwards. So my only time of ever seeing one of the greatest rock songs ever, We Won't Get Fooled Again, performed live. They performed it acoustic, so I didn't get the power chord and the scream at the end. That was kind of a letdown. But you know, I'm sure if I had been somebody that had seen them 1,000 times, I'd have been like, "Oh, that was cool. They played it acoustic," you know.
I saw them in '89 when they got back together and they did Tommy in its entirety, and then did like a greatest hits set. And I saw both the Stones and the Who that summer. I saw the Who first. They played for 3.5 hours. So I thought that like every classic rock band played for 3.5 hours. And when I saw the Stones, they only played for 2. I was pissed. But It was a much better show. When I saw the Who, it was like, you know, Pete Townsend, Entwistle, and Daltrey, and then 75 other people on stage. You know, and the Stones do that sometimes too. And I don't like too many horn players, too many keyboard players, too many backup guitar players. You know, I'm not seeing just people who created live leads.
Not the core band. Yeah.
I was lucky enough to see the Who with 4 members on the farewell tour of '82.
Oh, who opened up? Were you at the Joan Jett show?
Joan Jett and the B-52s opened.
Yeah, a guy I worked with was at that show. He said, man.
And Dream Bowl, Orlando.
Yeah, he said he still hates Joan Jett to this day because of that show. I
don't even remember Joan Jett that much. I do remember the B-52s because people were throwing cups, and one of the cups got caught in that chick's hairdo. And she did the whole song with a cup in her head. And we were all laughing. You know, I have on the newspaper.
Shit,
I still have it. The picture of the crowd at the Who show I was at, and you see me in that picture.
Wow. Heavy Metal Dave had a good one here. Any concerts that you saw where the opener was better than the headliner?
Yeah, Pantera was better than Skid Row. I know that Ted Nugent was better than Kiss at the Crazy Night show. I could think of plenty. Let me just.
My number one would be Guns N' Roses opening for Motley Crue.
I saw that. I saw that tour.
And I was just floored. I mean, just they annihilated Motley Crue that night. And I never need to see Guns N' Roses ever again after that. They're never going to top it.
Yeah.
Amazing. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's been some good ones. You know, next time you go in and see a headliner, you're surprised by the opening bands. But you know, we got a lot of good, especially back in the 80s, we got a lot of good opening bands for you know, the headliners back then. I mean,
I thought Quiet Riot was better than Iron Maiden on the Peace of Mind tour. But let me explain, because I think Iron Maiden is a better band. I think Peace of Mind is better than Metal Health. But I think they were having an off night that night.
Yeah, it happens.
Quiet Riot was on fire. Now in the 90s, I saw Lizzie Borden annihilate Yngwie.
Yeah, I saw that. We talked about that. I saw that tour myself.
Lizzie Borden was on fire.
You know, Ralph, were you talking about Quiet Riot and Maiden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw somebody online the other day. It was a question in a metal group, like, you ever seen an opening band blow the headliner off? And they said the same thing. They said they loved Maiden, but they said Maiden came out there and it was like by numbers. And they said Quiet Riot was so hungry.
Yeah, and believe me, that was the first time I saw Maiden. I mean, I love Quiet Riot and all at the time, but I was there to see Maiden. Finally, Peace of Mind tour, I get to see Maiden. And I'm not saying they were bad, but they were a little off. And Quiet Riot was on fire, man, on fire. I mean, thinking about it now, it's ridiculous to think Quiet Riot, but you got to remember, at that time, all the planets aligned for Quiet Riot. You had to be there to understand the impact.
Yep, you did, for sure. You had to be there. That's exactly right.
Before Kevin opened his mouth saying everybody sucked, everybody loved Quiet Riot, because Quiet Riot, it was a build, man. It didn't become big till 6 months later. I mean, I bought it on the strength of Bang Your Head, a Metal Health, that song. That's why I bought the album. And then, like, I don't know, 5, 6 months later, they released Come On Feel the Noise. And at that time, it was so huge and it was always on MTV. And when it shot up to number 1, I was so happy, man. Because I never thought Quiet Riot was going to be big. You know, humongous.
I bought it because I went to Sears and they were all sold out of Thriller. So I got Quiet Riot. But, I mean, like you said, you had to be there. It was a big thing, like, people who didn't like metal or listen to metal, I mean, it was in the same conversation with fucking Michael Jackson and everything else that was huge at that time. I mean, it was that fucking big. There was no denying it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That and Pyromania, you know.
Yeah.
I bought those long before I got into hard rock and metal, you know, because it was just part of the same conversation.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. Kyron and Golston asked, have you guys ever seen the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus movie? Because I own it. Which band do you think put the best performance on? You know, that movie, all the music in there is taped and they're pretty much lip syncing to it now, because I always thought they were playing it live, but Tony Iommi's in the scene. He's playing guitar for Jethro Tull in there. But on the soundtrack, I got the soundtrack, and the soundtrack credits somebody else on guitar for the recording. So Tony was just pantomiming into it or whatever, you know, air guitar into it. But
wow. I didn't know that.
Some of it might be live, but some of the stuff is they're playing to a tape or whatever. But I always love that. It's great. I mean, the version of Sympathy for the Devil that's on there is just so wicked, man. When he pulls his shirt off and he's got the demon head on his chest, and man, it's just so cool.
it didn't get released because the Stones hated it. They thought their performance was so bad because they had been up for days, because it was like it was them trying to do their like Beatles thing, like Beatles did with the live tape
Hard
of All
Day.
You Need Is Love,
Oh, okay.
and all this shit. So they were trying to do like, okay, we're gonna do something like that, because they did, their Satanic Majesty's Request, that didn't pan out, but they're like, oh, we got to keep up with the Beatles. They were still in that frame of mind, and they didn't like their performance. I love everybody on that, sans Richie Havens.
Man, one of the funniest things is that whole thing with the Dirty Mac, where you've got
I loved it.
got
Yeah.
John Lennon and Eric Clapton, and they're up there like jamming, and then
Keith
Yoko
Richards.
just
Yeah.
and Keith Richards, and then Yoko's up there, just some dudes playing a freaking violin, and Yoko's squealing. It's just, God, is hilarious, man. But one of my favorite performances on there is probably the Who doing a quick one, man. That's excellent.
Great. That was great.
Yeah.
I have to give it to the Stones.
I love when Keith Moon throws the snare, and it just like throws it at the camera, and it cuts to something else. That was pretty cool, And I always said Pete Townsend invented moshing on that. If you watch the very end of it, when what's the ending song, the Stone song they're doing? Is it
You Can't Always Get What You Want? Is that the last one?
no, this is it Salt of the Earth. What's the damn name of the song?
Yeah, Salt of the Earth.
Yeah. And everybody at the end gets up and starts dancing, and Pete Townsend just starts slamming into people. Something when he invented slam dancing and moshing right there. Yeah, Pete Townsend. Yeah, innovator. But I got this one. Here's one from Montana Hales. Rank these 5 obscure bands if you know them: Kick Axe, Spread Eagle, Icon, Shotgun Messiah, Dangerous Toys. Icon's number 1.
I know them all. The first Icon album, definitely the best. Name the other
Number
one.
1. Kick Axe, Spread Eagle,
I
Shotgun
love
Messiah.
Kick Axe. Vices, that's a great album. I saw Kick Axe open for Judas Priest on Defender of the Faith tour.
Yeah, I like Shotgun Messiah. I like Dangerous Toys.
I know about them, but I'm not really into them.
Yeah, I saw Kick Axe open for Priest. Yeah, Defenders. Yeah, that was good. That first album's really good. Second one's pretty good too. Oh, let's see. But yeah, Icon's got to go on the top of that list for sure.
That first Icon album can't be beat.
I have Vices on vinyl.
Yeah, so do I.
I don't even know if I made it all the way through it.
That video, I think what killed that band was that video. They should have never released Heavy Metal Shuffle as the first single. It's just not a great song.
They made a video for that?
And that there's a video where that freaking thing on the album cover is like a robot, and it's talking.
Yeah, they have a video for Road to Rock.
That's what it is, On the Road to Rock. Yeah. But Heavy Metal Shuffle was released as, I think, the first thing. I just never really thought that was a great song. On the Road to Rock's okay, but that video is just so cheesy for that one. Yeah. Of course, everybody had cheesy videos back then.
I'd put Dangerous Toys at number 1, Icon at 2. I don't know if I ever listened to Shotgun Messiah, so I don't know. What was the other band too?
Spread Eagle.
Yeah, never.
Kick Axe.
Spread Eagle's awesome. They're actually a local band down here. They're great.
Oh, really? They're from Florida?
They're from South Florida. What's that guy's name? The singer? Ray West.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome, man. They reunited. They played some shows down here recently.
Ray West, wasn't he in another band?
I'm not sure.
I know the bassist plays with UFO.
Yeah. I think he played with Lynch Mob for a while, and somebody else. Yeah, like Indian looking dude, like Native American Indian.
Yeah, I see him.
Yeah, he played with Lynch Mob for like a week or two, and I want to say he had something to do with Badlands too.
No, that was John West. You're thinking. Oh,
John West. Okay.
Yeah, John West.
Oddly enough, Omi, the original singer of Lynch Mob, is local as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right just kind of going through some stuff. Wadley saw the real Spinal Tap. He had to leave before the encore. This is just from the Cat Man. Ralph saw the acoustic shit show, and Lenny was an asshole.
Yeah, all true. And and what's his face? Harry Shearer was fucking awesome, and he's like the most popular guy out of all three of them because he's Principal Skinner.
It's my buddy that I went to go see the Spinal Tap show with, the one who made me leave early because he had to be at work. He made this post. It was him and his wife's anniversary. He's like, you know, this is the best thing that ever happened to me, blah, blah, you know, like a nice sentimental post. And I put in there, I go, I thought the best thing ever happened to you was you and me going to see Spinal Tap on the Break the Wind tour. And he's like, no, it wasn't the Mach 2 lineup.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new movie, but you know, that first movie is just I'm
so good. They filmed that shit in New Orleans right after I fucking moved. They filmed the sequel in New Orleans.
I mean, so much of the dialogue in the original is just ad-libbed.
I have a feeling the new Spinal Tap is going to be funny as fuck, but it's not going to top the original.
Oh no, it's just no way it could. It's just no way. Someone asked thoughts. Kyron said thoughts on Slade, the band Slade.
I don't know much about him, but our friend Ian, God damn it, now I forget his name. The guy that wrote the BJ.
Yeah, BJ Cramp.
BJ's favorite band is Cheap Trick, and then Slade.
Yeah,
I like them quite a bit. I've got most of their CDs back here. Yeah, they were just a band I discovered through Quiet Riot, of course. But that album that they put out right after they got a record deal, right after Quiet Riot had a hit, that Keep Your Hands Off My Power Supply, the one that has Run Away. I broke that album.
The chameleon standing there in the sun.
Yeah, I broke that album out the other day and played it. It's a great record. And that album actually came out about a year before it came out here. It came out in Europe. It was called The Great Kamikaze Syndrome. And the sequence of songs was in different order. And they had a different album cover, of course, a different title. But really, really good record. And a couple songs, they had some songs. A lot of their songs were covered by other people. But yeah, cool band. I like them.
Right.
Someone, let's see. Baltimore football guy goes, best local band you saw that didn't make it big. His was Child's Play from Baltimore, so they kicked ass.
Thrash or Die, man. I'll tell you, there's two. I can't tell you which one I like more. They're both so good. Rape Date and then Boogalard. Those are my two favorite local bands.
I thought you were going to say Stranger.
Well, Stranger was Tampa area.
Yeah.
I loved if Stranger was down here, they'd be my favorite. What a
yeah. I mean,
that guy committed suicide.
Yeah, mine is Cry of Love. I mean, they did 2 albums on a major label, but and had some success, but they should have been huge. They
we reviewed a Cry of Love album on the show.
Yeah, should have been as big as Black Crowes,
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's see. We got to wrap this up soon. We're going into 2 hours here.
Yeah. We'll wrap it up if you guys don't mind at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
13. Everybody.
Yeah, just people talking about production and stuff here on different albums. Yeah, just people talking about they like Freely's Comet. Great song by Foreigners, Jukebox Heroes. After watching Baltimore football history, after watching badass Pete Townsend doing Young Man Blues, I just can't see an 80-year-old Pete doing it. Yeah, Old Man Blues. Yeah,
I saw the Who 4 years ago. They were phenomenal. They were fucking phenomenal.
What are your top 3 songs off 10 by Y&T?
I don't know no songs to talk about that album.
Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Yeah, that's a great one.
Greatest Y&T song is Dirty Girl.
I think Mean Streak.
Mean Streak is my favorite.
That solo is just God. That song is so heavy, and that was released as a single, and that solo is just fucking killer.
One of my favorite videos.
Yeah,
I was, back then, I was going through puberty, and that scene in that video where that girl opens her mouth really wide. I've jacked off to that. But my hormones were out of control.
I jacked off to the Rat Way Cole Jr. video.
And The Cure, right?
And The Cure.
And The Cure. And The Cure.
Hey, Mean Metal Mike says, I'd like to meet Phil Rudd. Yeah. He could probably find someone to kill your wife.
Yeah, I heard he's a dick. My friend Greg meets everybody, and he said Phil Rudd was a dick to him.
He comes off like he would probably be. Yeah.
Everybody else in AC/DC said were very nice, except for Phil Rudd. There's footage on YouTube of fucking Brian Johnson pissed off outside an airport. He got pissed at some lady in the car. He got out of the car. He's screaming the fuck out. I was like, boy, that's not like the Brian Johnson I think,
Did he go,
ew? He lost his mind. Maybe you can find Brian Johnson Airport. See if you can find it that way.
Have to look that up. Here's a good one. Jersey Devil says, what tour would you like to go back in time to see a show from?
Black Sabbath, Never Say Die with Van Halen opening. Any Led Zeppelin show or Jimi Hendrix. And of course, AC/DC with Bond. Those are my top. I wish I could have seen bands.
I wish I could. Thin Lizzy, the Jailbreak lineup.
Yeah, Thin Lizzy.
And Thin Lizzy, like when Gary Moore was in the band, like around 78, 79.
I got to say Thin Lizzy too. And, there was another one. Damn it. Now I can't remember. I know there was another one.
I'd love to see. I'd love to see April Wine.
April Wine.
82. That would be
awesome. I would
awesome
love to see April Wine on the Nature of the Beast tour.
Yeah.
Which did play down here, but unfortunately, I didn't go. And I would have loved to see Devo in the early days.
Yeah, I didn't see them until I'd love to see them in the early. I didn't see them until like later, like 2010 or something.
I've never seen Devo.
I'd say Sabbath 72, Van Halen Fair Warning.
Greatest show I ever saw. The best
Zappa 74 and Maiden Power Slave.
Yeah, I saw that show. That shit was way better than Live After Death, let me tell you. I have a bootleg because of Greg Barnes. He got me a bootleg of that Sportatorium show. There's the proof I remember, man. I was like, see, here Bruce sounds good. On the fucking live album, he sounds like shit.
Guilty of Being Right says he'd like to hang out with G.G. Allen. It's a shitty afternoon.
Hey, I'll shit on you for free. Yeah.
Oh man, Ogre Lord 5150 said he loves the heavy metal music soundtrack. That is a great heavy metal soundtrack.
Except for that horrible Sammy Hagar song.
I would have loved.
I love that one too.
I would have loved to see the Beatles, but the Beatles in Japan. Because over there, they weren't screaming over them. And you see that footage of the Beatles in Japan? That's some great footage, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you would have been able to hear them. You wouldn't have that screeching sound,
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there someone you wish you didn't meet? Meaning they were a complete deuce to you. That was from Mark Daly.
Peter Criss.
Mark Daly in the house. Who?
Peter Criss. He was a dick.
Even though he was nice later, in the 80s, Gary Holt was a dick. But I met him in recent times, he was nice. But yeah, in the 80s, Gary Holt was a prick.
Yeah. Rick Nielsen was kind of a prick when I met him.
He took a photo. When I hung out with him, he was a prick at first, and then he was real cool. It was weird though. But yeah, he totally changed.
You never know when you meet these people what their day's been like too. I mean, hell, people come up to me at work or something and try to talk to you about something. You might have a bad day or something.
I met John Oliva like 3-4 times, and he was the coolest guy ever. Then when I met him on streets, he was a complete prick. So it was that day.
Yeah. My funniest story with him was did an interview with him once on the tour bus, and he goes and he's sitting across from me on the bus, and he says, "You don't care if I smoke pot, do you?" And he just pulls this freaking massive bag of pot out, just sits it on this TV tray, and starts just like rolling joints.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a trip. All right, man. Yeah. Let's see. Someone said they'd love to meet Mooney, Morrison, and Great Slick. That's Baltimore football. Decline of the West of Civilization Part 2 is a good soundtrack. Ogre Lord says, yes, it is. That's got some good stuff.
Odin.
They're not on the soundtrack, oddly enough.
No, they're not. You know,
But one of the most,
I would always say had the chick saying that, the chick that was going to continue on with her actress.
I love Odin. I just didn't like that era of Odin. That shit was terrible. But that Don't Take No for an Answer EP from and I saw them. I told this story to my girlfriend the other day. This is a very interesting story. I saw Odin in 1985, right? This is when that EP came out. Great show. Fast forward 20-something years later, I'm delivering Chinese food, right? And I'm wearing an Armored Saint shirt. And I'm delivering Chinese food to this one guy. And he goes, "Hey, Armored Saint, I opened for them in California." I was like, "Oh yeah, what was your band?" My band was Stone Soldier. I was like, "Holy shit, I saw Stone Soldier open for Odin." And I was telling him, "Dude, I saw you at the country club with Odin." He goes, "I remember that show." And I go, "Dude, Stone Soldier, you guys were great, but I never found your music." And he said, "Oh no, we never released an album, but I got a few demos." And I gave him my email, and he sent me a couple demos in there. But yeah, Stone Soldier.
Did he tip well?
Huh?
Did he tip well? You delivered him food.
I believe he did, because I'd remember if he didn't. So he must have tipped well. By the way,
Ralph said,
there was a report.
Count Ralph has said his favorite original his soundtracks are The Omen and Conan the Barbarian.
Oh yeah, Conan's cool. That's a good one.
Baltimore football history watches you a lot because he said he would like to meet Paul Stanley of Kiss.
Paul Stanley of Kiss.
I met him. He was all right. But he acted like he really didn't give a shit. Actually, Gene Simmons was much more engaging and seemed more interesting.
Yeah, I got the same impression from Paul.
And Paul's my favorite member, but yeah.
You know, they're I've met them a couple times. They were all, you know, somewhat friendly and stuff, you know. And of course, I drove Gene to the hotel once, but I remember having a conversation, and I was backstage. I was working a gig, and I was wearing a UFO T-shirt, and Eric Singer's like, "UFO, now that was a great fucking band." And Paul Stanley said they opened for us one time. I didn't think that the singer had much charisma. He wasn't that great.
He's not.
He goes,
he doesn't.
And Eric said, "Well, it was all about Michael Schenker. Michael Schenker was the guitarist." And Paul said, "I don't think Michael Schenker was the guitar player when they opened for us." That was the little Kiss conversation I was stuck in the middle of there. Mark Daly said, "Did you hear about the fire in downtown Los Angeles? The building was damaged. The building that was damaged was where the Doors took a picture of the Morrison Hotel, I hadn't heard about that. Wow. Must have been today or something?
I heard Mark Daly's a flamer, but I didn't hear about the fire.
I heard the same thing.
Transformers 1986 soundtrack really kicks ass. That's what Hershey Squirts 187 says. Yeah, robots in the sky.
There's something on that became a Fraley's Comet song.
That was on That was the Megaforce movie you're thinking about. That was 707.
Oh yeah,
but
you're right.
But you know what? So that song, "The Touch," is on there by what's the dude's name that did the song? "The Touch." It's the same one that Dirk Diggler does in the Boogie Nights movie.
Yeah.
You know, you got Stan Bush. You got the touch. Yeah.
You got the fire.
Yeah, the old Dirk Diggler. Yeah. Black Roses, Gabriella Valentine says Black Rose is arguably one of the best metal soundtracks ever, which she yets to own or whatever. Hopefully one day I'll be able to grab a copy on eBay. Yeah, it's a good one. I've got the CD and the album of that. But I like that movie. The movie's cheesy, but the music's really good in it. It's got some cool stuff in it.
I was hoping someone that had like the coolest fucking VHS box cover. Remember
had
how
the raised 3D cover, yeah.
Oh, I thought that movie sucked so bad.
I have it on VHS. I don't have that 3D cover. I've just got a regular standard box. Yeah, but that was cool. I remember seeing it in the shops and stuff. Where do you guys rank the Eagles in rock history? That's from Mark Hewlett.
I'm not an Eagles fan, but they are without a doubt very important because their album sold more than any album, even more than Thriller. They have the biggest selling album, one of their greatest hits.
Yeah, so the first
one. They're very important, even though I'm not a fan. I do love These Shoes.
Oh, good.
Long Run has a good song. Disco Strangler.
Yep.
There were some good songs.
King of Hollywood. I
was gonna say King of Hollywood is just such an underrated song, such a heavy dark song.
Long Run is my favorite Eagles album, and it's generally considered their worst by fans and critics. Well, until they put out that horrible Back to Eden fucking double. Yeah. That was fucking atrocious.
I like the Long Run. I think it's great.
I like the Eagles. And I like them in passing, but Long Run's about the only one I'll put on from start to finish. And I still skip the Geeks Don't Want No Freaks. That song sucks.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. It's 10 p.m. And it's been a fun episode. Thank you so much, Tony and Ian, for joining me.
Yes.
And fuck Wayne. And next week, I won't be here. Where will I be? Will I be in front of my record collection? Or will I be in front of my brother's house? Tune in next Thursday to find out. Right on.
New year, new location.
New year, new location. I got everything out of this room.
But same bat time, same bat channel.
Exactly. Smack 'em a gob.
And the war's gay.